and that's when he shot her. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence will show that he emptied the clip, 8 shots at Jennifer, causing 21 entry and exit wounds. And by his own admission, every shot hit. Every shot hit his target.
Murder in South Miami. A woman is found dead in a townhouse there after a man walks into the police station claiming he harmed his wife.
After he shot and killed her inside their South Miami home.
Police say Derek Medina told them it began as a domestic dispute, then escalated into a fatal shooting. Perhaps most disturbing is what Medina allegedly posted on his Facebook page.
An image of his wife, 26-year-old Jennifer Alfonso, lying dead on their kitchen floor.
On the morning of August 8, 2013, a 31-year-old man named Derek Medina shot and killed his wife, Jennifer Alfonso, who was 26 years old. Afterward, he pulled out his phone and snapped a photo of the lifeless woman. Derek left the home soon after. That morning, he posted the picture of his dead wife on Facebook, along with a message to his friends in which he admitted to what he'd just done. Then he turned himself in to police. A little over 2 years later, the man stood trial for Miss Alfonso's murder. The following narrative is based on Derek Medina's confession to police, on statements made by witnesses at trial, and on available reporting as of the date that I'm posting this video regarding what led up to and what followed the slaying of Jennifer Alfonso. Derek Medina graduated from Coral Gables High School in the year 2001. Jennifer Alfonso went to South Dade High School for a time, but gave birth to a baby girl as a teenager and did not graduate. Later, she earned her GED. In 2009, she was working as a waitress at a Denny's located on Bird Road near 87th Avenue. Derek Medina was a regular there at the time. That's how they met. This photo of the pair was taken at that Denny's during that period at the outset of their brief courtship. They dated for just a few months before they were married in January of 2010. Their relationship was quite turbulent at times, apparently. Derek reportedly kicked Jennifer out of his home on multiple occasions. At least one of Jennifer's co-workers have recalled the woman showing up for work at times wearing fresh bruises. Jennifer and Derek divorced in February of 2012. Soon they were together again and got remarried in April of that year. They were divorced for only 4 months when they jumped the broom the second time. By May of that year, Jennifer had moved in with Derek at his 2-bedroom South Miami townhome on Southwest 67th Avenue. Derek had purchased the dwelling during their brief divorce. Jennifer was apparently excited. She wrote in the journal that she was keeping at the time about moving into the beautiful place. She records her thoughts on her stormy relationship with Derek in the diary, which she titled, "The Mind of an Insane Woman." "When we love each other, it's great. But when we hate each other, we hate each other," she wrote in one entry. In another note, she writes of how she became, quote, "uncontrollably jealous, like want to murder type of deal," unquote, when she believed Derek was looking at other women as they were out shopping. She writes of how strange their relationship was at the time and says that they'd get angry over the stupidest things. Derek and Jennifer shared an interest in ghosts and in the bizarre and supernatural. They would go on ghost hunting trips together. Jennifer wrote in the journal about some of her unusual preoccupations, such as her belief in zombies and her worries about a possible zombie apocalypse. She also writes about an incident that happened in downtown Miami around the same time that she moved into the townhome with Derek. The story, which attracted worldwide attention, involved a man who chewed off a homeless man's face, quote, "like a fucking snack," in Jennifer's words. Also, Jennifer reportedly believed that their new South Miami townhome was haunted by spirits. According to Jennifer's brother, David Alfonso, it was Derek that fostered Jennifer's interests in these curiosities. "I knew this guy got Jenny into ghost hunting and UFO searching and stuff like that. The guy is eccentric," her brother said. Derek was known by at least a few acquaintances as quite an unusual character. Derek was a prolific poster on social media. Derek and Jennifer used to hang with a dude named Joe around that time. After Jennifer's slaying became news, Joe spoke with media and recalled spending time with the couple. He found Derek's plentiful social media posts a bit odd and said that at some point he finally decided to unfriend Derek on Facebook. "Derek was just a strange person," Joe said. Joe said that he ultimately ended his association with Derek following an incident that occurred at a heavy metal concert in West Palm Beach called the Mayhem Festival. Some dude accidentally spilled beer on Jennifer. Derek reacted by pulling a pistol on the dude. Joe said that no one in their group was aware that Derek was carrying a gun. He didn't even think that Jennifer knew. This is it, Joe said he decided. I'm not dealing with this guy anymore. Around that time, Derek claimed to be an experienced martial artist when he visited a combat sports gym in West Miami-Dade called Freestyle Fighting Academy. One day, a teacher at the gym attempted to correct Derek's fighting stance. Derek took offense and challenged the man to a fight. Derek reportedly got his ass kicked. Then he flipped the fuck out. He started shouting that the coach had cheated and that he wanted a rematch. The instructor instructed Derek to get the fuck out and not to come back. After the incident, Derek reportedly posted a series of videos on YouTube where he reenacted the fight at the gym. He bought a championship belt and had the coach's name engraved on it. The owner of the gym described Derek as, quote, definitely off his rocker. Derek was known to brag about having won every one of his 25 amateur boxing matches. But based on footage he posted on YouTube, he does not at all appear to be a trained fighter. Derek documented his sports fanaticism on his social media pages where he uploaded videos showing him shooting hoops, working on his swing at the batting cages, hitting the heavy bag, playing golf, and attending sports events. Jennifer accompanies him at some of these outings. She's behind the camera in this clip, which shows Derek meeting one of his idols, Miami Heat sharpshooter and NBA champion Ray Allen. Derek appears to be awestruck at being in the company of such a highly respected athlete. Derek undertook numerous pursuits, no doubt hoping to achieve a level of recognition for himself. In January of 2010, around the time he and Jennifer got married for the first time, Derek appeared in an episode of the USA Network television show, Burn Notice, in a brief non-speaking role. He wrote self-help ebooks as well as books about ghost hunting. In one of his books, he writes about a man named James and James's wife, Christine. His depiction of the couple appears to be, at least in part, autobiographical. He writes about how hard it was on James being in and out of marriage and describes James and Christine's difficulty communicating with one another. Toward the end of the book, Derek tells the reader that he wrote the book to show people how important communication and love can be. Quote, love is not taking the easy way out to resolve the problem. Love will hit you right in your face and knock you down. Jennifer's daughter was staying over on the evening of August 7th, 2013. Jennifer and Derek had planned a date night, but Derek overslept and failed to wake his wife and stepdaughter. Jennifer was angry and confronted Derek the next morning. In the midst of the argument, Jennifer exchanged Facebook direct messages with a friend. She told the friend that Derek was supposed to wake her up the night before. At one point that morning, she wrote, he came in the room, and then he walked out, didn't say anything. I need to calm down because I feel like I'm about to explode. We fought, she wrote in another message. She relayed to her friend, he doesn't give a shit. He called me a bitch. I feel like I want to leave. I felt like ripping his face off an hour ago, she wrote in another message. After some back and forth, Jennifer thanked her friend for making her feel better. That morning, Jennifer began throwing things at Derek as they argued in the bedroom. Mascara, boxes, towels.
She threw stuff at him, stuff she had around, mascara, a towel, during the course of the argument. What did the defendant do? Well, he went and got his gun. He went to the closet, unholstered his gun after she threw some mascara and a towel at him, and he pointed at the gun at her and threatened to shoot her if she didn't stop throwing a towel and mascara at him. So she stopped. She told him that she's leaving him for good, that she was not going to be there when he came home that night. She went downstairs to the kitchen, maybe to make pancakes for her 10-year-old daughter, Isabel Vieira, who was upstairs. And he comes downstairs while she's in the kitchen, and he continues the argument with her. She had left, and he comes downstairs to re-engage because he doesn't lose.
It was about 10 a.m. Surveillance footage from inside the home shows portions of the deadly interaction.
And according to the defendant's statement, his own words to the police, which you will both hear and see on video, very calmly, he says that she was punching him in the kitchen once he came down and re-engaged her in the argument. So what did he do? He left the kitchen and he made a decision. He made a turn out. He went down the hall. He went up the stairs. He went back into his bedroom. He went back to the closet, back to the holster. He unholstered the gun, took it out, went out of his room, back down the stairs, down the hall, and back into the kitchen to confront her again with the gun. And then, according to him, his statement to the police, she picked up a knife. She picked up the knife because she saw him with the gun. She was protecting herself according to his own statement. And what does she do? She calls him a pussy. It is then undisputed. He says, I disarmed her. Even though she had just been disarmed of the weapon that she was using to protect herself, by his own admission, she started punching him in the chest and the arm. And that's when he shot her. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence will show that he emptied the clip. 8 shots at Jennifer, causing 21 entry and exit wounds. And by his own admission, every shot hit. Every shot hit his target.
Minutes later, Derek snapped a photo of his dead wife. He went upstairs and told his stepdaughter not to come downstairs. He got dressed. Before calmly walking out of the home, he took one last look at Jennifer as she lay motionless on the kitchen floor. At 11:11 that morning, Derek posted a message to his friends on his Facebook page. The message read, "I'm going to prison or death sentence for killing my wife. Love you guys, miss you guys. Take care, Facebook people. You will see me in the news. My wife was punching me, and I'm not going to stand anymore with the abuse. So I did what I did. I hope you understand me." His next post was a photo of his wife's lifeless body with the caption, "R.I.P. Jennifer Alfonso." Derek was working as a front desk supervisor at an apartment complex at the time. He made calls to 2 of his coworkers explaining why he would not be at work that day. He told them that he had just shot and killed his wife.
He said, I just killed my wife.
Tell you what?
He goes on to say that it was years of abuse.
Soon after, Derek and his father walked into the South Miami police station.
He came in and he said, I have to turn myself in. And I said, for what? And then he reiterated, I just shot and killed my wife.
At that point he responded, I was involved with an argument with my wife, and she was hitting me.
Okay.
And she's been hitting me for a long time. So I shot her. Yes, at that point the defendant spontaneously stated, oh, she's dead. I know she's dead because I emptied my .380 in her 5 shots.
I'm going to object.
Dispatch sent out word that something nasty had happened in South Miami. This dude is from the Miami-Dade Police Department and was the first to respond.
Were you the first police officer to arrive on the scene that morning?
Yes.
And what happened when you arrived at the address, sir?
I went to the front door and I started banging on the door.
Was the door locked?
The door was locked.
Did any other police officers begin to arrive after you?
Detective Hernandez arrived right after me.
And were you the first officer through the door once the door was breached?
Yes.
And did other officers follow right behind you?
Yes.
And did you enter with guns drawn?
Yes. There was a kitchen right after the living room. There's a kitchen to my right.
Okay. And did you observe anything inside of the kitchen?
There was a deceased female lying on the kitchen floor.
What position was she in when you observed her?
She had her knees bent back. She had fallen back, and her head was resting against the kitchen cabinet, and she had apparent gunshot wounds.
Was the female moving?
No.
Was she showing any signs of life when you observed her?
No.
Did you and your fellow officers then proceed upstairs to the second floor?
Yes.
Where did you locate her?
She was located in a bedroom. I opened the door and she was sitting on the bed with a red blanket.
The man put a blanket over the girl's head and escorted her out past the other responders that had gathered, blocking her view of the carnage in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Derek sat down with a pair of detectives and told his version of the story.
She started ranting about, why we didn't, I didn't wake her up at 1:30 after we went out last night. And then she started throwing stuff, objects towards me as a weapon. And then I pulled out my weapon.
You say that she was throwing items at you. What exactly was it that she was throwing?
Towels, mascara, creams, anything she can grab her hand. Boxes, anything in the room she could throw at me. I was just ducking. I got hit in the face a few times.
Did you sustain any injuries at that point?
No. Only when she was pushing me and punching me afterwards when I got upset. I myself, when she started pushing me and punching me, then I backed up and I went and got the gun. Then she said she was going to leave me. I went downstairs, confronted her, saw what she was doing, and she had a knife in her hand. Grabbed it, I grabbed the knife in my right hand, put it back in the drawer, and then she kept on punching me like crazy again.
When you were coming downstairs, where was she?
In the kitchen.
And did you have the firearm in your hand?
Yes.
And when you came downstairs and saw her in the kitchen, did she have the knife at that point? Did she say anything to you at that point?
Yeah. You're gonna kill me, blah, 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 just like, you're a pussy, and all that stuff.
And you stated that you disarmed her?
Correct.
And was your firearm in your hand at the time that you disarmed her?
Correct.
And what did you do with the knife once you took it out of her hand?
Put it in the drawer.
And at that point, did you close the drawer?
Yeah.
What happened next?
She just started firing punches like crazy over the socket. Like I was getting out of the way, I got hit in the arm, and she was like going for my temple. I felt like she was, she was trying to just take me out.
So after she hit you in the kitchen,
I fired.
how many times?
I fired away. I shot her.
How many times did you discharge your weapon?
I want to say 6 to 8 times.
Your firearm was fully loaded?
Correct.
Magazine capped up? And what did you do with the gun after you shot her?
Well, she was still lunging and throwing punches even when I did shoot her. She was still fighting. I put it upstairs in the closet again on top of the pants. And then I got some pants and jeans. I talked to my stepdaughter, I told her to keep this door closed. Don't come downstairs. I told her to stay there. And then I went downstairs, I took the picture, and then I just locked the door.
Now, you stated that you took a picture. What did you take a picture of?
Of her.
Was she deceased at that point?
Yes.
And why did you take a photo?
So the family would know and be notified, and they can rush over here and get my stuff out.
And what did you do once you took that photo?
Upload it on Facebook.
Did you upload it on your Facebook page as well?
The gruesome picture that Derek took of Jennifer as her bloodied body lay bent backward on the kitchen floor was deleted from Facebook, along with Derek's page several hours after he'd posted it. But the image still lives today in numerous dark corners of the World Wide Web. He stood trial in November of the year 2015, a little over 2 years after he killed his wife. At trial, the prosecution argued that Derek shot Jennifer out of rage because she had just told him that she was going to leave him. It said that Jennifer posed no threat to Derek when he shot her, that even according to Derek's own statement to police, he had taken from Jennifer any knife that she may have held, and that when he shot her, Jennifer was on her knees. The Miami-Dade County Deputy Medical Examiner testified for the prosecution as the jury viewed graphic autopsy photos showing Jennifer's bullet wounds. The examiner gave a clinical description of her injuries and said that based on the positioning of her body, Jennifer was likely cowering at the time that she was shot and holding her arms up in a futile effort to protect herself.
That all 5 shots to the arm were through and throughs that went to the face and to the chest. Both MEs put her in exactly the same position, and he hit 5 shots there, aiming for her face or her head.
Renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bvtman testified for the defense and said that Jennifer was standing when the shots were fired. The defense attempted to discredit the statement Derek gave to the police, which it said contained verifiable false assertions.
You heard that my client told Detective Grossman that he had a bachelor's in Florida National College. They're all incorrect things. None of them are true. Not one. Never an amateur boxer.
Derek's statement is a statement that should be questioned. I don't know why he said it. I don't know why he said he was a 25-year-old undefeated boxer, but things he said weren't true. Told you he's 25-year-old as an amateur boxer. That's a lie. He told you he's a professional boxer. That's a lie. He told you he's a college graduate. These are all lies.
The defense offered the bizarre argument that Derek had not disarmed Jennifer as he had claimed in his statement. It said that Jennifer was holding the knife and attacking Derek with it when he shot her, despite what he subsequently told police.
And the law tells you that in no uncertain terms, if somebody comes at you with a knife and you've got a gun and you're in fear, guess what? In Florida, you can act. You can stand your ground. You can meet force with force, up including to deadly force.
At the end of the day, in that little kitchen, she had the knife and she was attacking him. It's got to be self-defense.
The defense argued that Derek was an abused spouse and offered evidence which it said showed that Jennifer was a violent and aggressive woman.
My client had a history of abuse with Jennifer Alfonso.
The defense cited text messages Jennifer sent to a friend just prior to the shooting, including one in which she said she felt like ripping Derek's face off.
I felt like ripping his face off an hour ago. Her words, Jennifer Alfonso's. Her words that morning.
The fact that Miss Alfonso, in a span of 45 minutes, goes upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs. And what she's doing when she's going upstairs is she's continuing to have an argument with my client where she's the one that's angry. She's the one that starts the fights.
The defense said that Jennifer had attacked Derek in a fit of rage on the morning of her death, and that Derek had only responded to her aggression.
It was full of anger and rage. Not my words. Not my co-counsel's words. Not my client's words. The decedent's words. You're going to hear phrases like, I wanted to rip his eyes out in those messages that morning. You're going to hear the words, I'm ready to explode that morning. Not from my client. Not from me or my co-counsel, but from Jennifer Alfonso. You're going to hear that she was furious at my client for not waking her up at 1:30 in the morning to watch movies. You're going to hear that she was upset that he didn't want to spend time with her. And that she was outraged at the fact that she had lost control over the man that she had been abusing, the man she had been controlling, and it's evidence from her own words that morning.
Video of Jennifer's daughter explaining to police what had happened on that morning was shown to the court.
You're going to see a video from Jennifer Alfonso's daughter, the young girl, about what she experienced. And this is before she knew her mother passed. You're going to see that video. You know what that video is going to show? That this little girl heard crashing and smashing in the room next door. You're going to hear that my client that morning was trying to calm down Jennifer Alfonso. You're not going to hear it from me. You're going to hear it from the deceased's daughter in video saying that Derek was trying to calm her down. But you couldn't. You can't calm her down. And it's not from me, it's not from Derek, it's not from my co-counsel, it's from her daughter.
Surveillance footage from the fateful morning was shown in court. Jennifer's mother wept while watching her daughter's final moments on Earth. Meanwhile, Derek kept his head down, staring at his notebook. Testimony in the trial lasted for 2 weeks. During closing arguments, the prosecution said that the evidence speaks for itself. The defense said that it had established reasonable doubt.
At this point, we have created reasonable doubt. That's what that is. Because the second you agree that that's a knife, she's armed within 1.6 seconds and moving this knife right next to Derek. In this space, in this tiny space. Come on, think about it. Let that sink in. That's what this is.
On November 25th of 2015, after 6.5 hours of deliberation, the jury found Derek guilty of first-degree murder, child neglect, and of discharging a firearm within a dwelling. His sentencing hearing was a little over 2 months later, on February 5th of 2016. Jennifer's mother spoke at the hearing and explained how the killing of her daughter affected her family. Before the verdict was read, Derek spoke to the court and said the following.
Focus, Barack Obama president, on this corrupted world that I will be suing. Focus, again, presidents and future presidents of the world, okay? I will be suing this world. Not only that, Unfriended the movie by Universal Pictures came out with a movie before my trial, which was unfair, okay? Which was biased. And pretty much the point that I'm trying to make is I did not get a fair trial. And I will be taking action, I will be suing. And I want Barack Obama, the President of the United States of America, to focus on corruption. Corruption is a big problem that we have in the United States of America and all over the world. Nothing further. And God knows the truth, and nothing further.
Soon after, Judge Yvonne Kolodny sentenced Derek to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The biological father of Jennifer's daughter retained custody of the child following the tragedy that occurred at 5555 Southwest 67th Avenue on August 8th of 2013. In a strange coincidence, Alfonso's maternal grandmother was shot to death in a 1986 murder-suicide in a 67th Avenue apartment less than 2 miles from where Derek and Jennifer lived. Manuel Alvarez drove from Texas to Miami to shoot his ex-wife Mercedes Alvarez in the chest before then taking his own life. Jennifer was born 10 months after her grandmother's slaying. Derek appealed the decision in his case and sought a new trial. On November 28th of 2018, the 3rd District Court of Appeal in Miami upheld Derek's conviction and his sentence. Derek Medina will spend the rest of his earthly life in a state prison. Peace, you guys. Thanks once again for tuning in. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing. Thanks for helping me to grow this channel. Thanks especially to you returning viewers and subscribers. It means a lot to me that you guys are able to connect with the content in some kind of way, and I'm humbled and flattered that you guys continue to share a little bit of your attention with me. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. I've got some interesting stories that I want to tell you guys. The next one is one that I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already heard of. It's a pretty wild and sad story about a pretty well-known social media influencer named Courtney Clenny, who stabbed her boyfriend to death and has claimed self-defense, pleaded guilty, and is now going through the court system. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, thanks you guys for tuning in. Peace.